have a business partner. His name is Simon. I have a wife, and I thought that those were the two people in this world that I could trust more than anyone. But it turns out that I've been deceived, conned, and betrayed by the people I thought I could trust the most. Well, I know that they've been cheating, but I didn't let them know that I know. It's been 4 agonizing months that I've been through this. The reason I'm coming here today is because today is the day I'm getting revenge. So let me tell you my story. Last week has been the worst week of my entire life. Everyone has people in their lives that they trust the most, right? Imagine how you would feel if you got betrayed by not only one but 2 of the people you trust the most in this world. By that, I mean you trust them with your life. What would you do? My head literally hurts every time I think about it. So I thought it would be better to come here and ask you guys what I should do. I'm Kyle, I'm 30, I'm male, and there were only 2 people who I fully trusted, or trusted before any of this happened. See, my parents passed away right as I finished college. My own relatives, whom I'd assumed cared about me and would be there for me, tooth and nail, to get the house that they left behind, took the house from me and kicked me out. They left me to fend for myself on the streets, even though I had only just started working. I could not do anything and just watch them take over my home. As you can understand, this betrayal left me unable to trust anyone with anything. I didn't make my friends known because, well, I didn't have many, and the ones I did make, I did not trust at least fully. The only 2 people I trusted 100% were my wife, Erin, whom I met many years ago, and my business partner and friend, Simon. After my relatives betrayed me, Erin and Simon were the only 2 people I put my trust in. Now, I find out that they have betrayed me too. I think that I'm just cursed by caring for people who won't hesitate to stab me in the back with a long sword. I'm jumping too far ahead. So, my relatives kicked me out, believing that I would never make anything of myself, and keeping me there was just a waste of their funds. By the end of it, the regretment was that they bet against the wrong horse. You see, because of what they did, I worked twice as hard and I started earning some good money. Then I met Simon, and both of us agreed that we could do something together. It's funny, I actually met both Simon and Erin separately in the span of about 2 weeks. With him, I started a partnership, and with her, I started a relationship. After a few months, I don't think that I have to explain how things progressed with old Erin, because you already know that we're married. So I'll stick with Simon. He was always a younger person, just a bit of a better-looking version of me. I'll say it, he's just as smart and he works just as hard as me. The similarities between us were the main reason we worked together, and the reason I trusted him so much. Within a few years, we started making a good profit from our business, and things with Erin were going great too. As I proposed and she said yes, well, by that point, I looked at Simon as kind of like a brother. Up until recently, I would have taken a bullet for him. We literally went from nothing to having so much together, struggled all the way, and just worked hard and built what we have now. Throughout all this, there had not been one day where he had tried to do something to give me less profit, cut me out, or take me down a notch. With my power, he would rather give me more than take. So you can understand why this betrayal has taken me by surprise. A bit later, I get married to Erin, while Simon stuck to jumping from one girl to another. The one thing Simon did that was distinctively different from me was his way of dating. I've always been a one-woman man, and I always liked relationships, but he, as you already understand, was never satisfied being with just one woman. I never judged him for it and never asked him to change, even though I disliked it. It's his choice and I respect it. Erin and Simon slowly became good friends too, so I was happy. They were the 2 most important people in my life. Fast forward to last week. Everything was going great. Our business has been booming and we're making good money. Erin was the greatest wife, and every day I felt lucky to have someone like her in my life. She took good care of me and even quit her job just so she could focus on both of our health and home. Everyone told me how lucky I was to have a beautiful, loving wife like her. I was super proud of her, but then everything changed. Out of pure good or bad luck, depends on how you look at it, I ran into a woman who last recognized me and asked me if I had 10 minutes, as she had some important information. Well, I'm intrigued, so I sat down with her at a nearby coffee shop, and what she told me was genuinely unbelievable. She introduced herself as Lexi and told me that she believed that she had been dating Simon for the last 6 months. But it turned out that he was just playing with her. She told me that Simon claimed that they were in a relationship while he was sleeping around with another woman, whom she caught him with recently. She looked a bit scared while telling me, and what she was saying made me a bit uncomfortable. I told her I understood that Simon should not have done that to her, but I also told her that I was there, there's nothing that I could do to stop. I can't help her, so if she wants to confront him or punish him, she would have to do that herself. Even though I hate that he does this and pretends to be loyal and sleeps around, I don't have the power to stop him. Plus, he doesn't listen to me when I give him life advice anyways. She then stopped me and told me that she didn't want my help but wanted to actually help me. I asked her what she was talking about. Then she explained that the woman she caught Simon cheating with was actually my wife. I immediately got angry and almost screamed at her for accusing my wife of doing something like that. I told her that she got it wrong, and if she wanted to take revenge against him by making me mad at him, then it would not work. She got a bit scared by my tone and apologized, but she said that she was 100% sure that it was my wife. She also explained that Simon had never introduced her to me as my wife, so he assumed that she had no idea who the girl was that he was cheating with. But she knew, as her brother had worked with us before and she had seen us together. She told me that she didn't want to give me awful news like this, but she could also not leave me blinded. She tried her best to convince me, but I kept refusing to believe her words. She then asked me to at least check and see if she was telling the truth and then left. She also gave me a number in case I needed to contact her after this. I spent the next few days pretty much debating with myself if my wife and Simon would actually be able to betray me like this. But I wasn't going to take a stranger's word against them. We had years of built trust and a strong bond, so I decided that I was just going to forget it. But I couldn't. I kept thinking, what if what she was telling me was the truth, and they were actually sleeping together? Even as a hypothetical situation, I could not believe that they could do something like this, but I needed to make sure. I hired a private investigator and paid him to tail them for 2 weeks and see if he found something. The worst thing about all this is that he did not even take 3 days to find the proof. Yesterday, 3 days later, he contacts me and tells me he needs to say something. He asked me to meet him. He told me to prepare myself for the worst. I met him, and he told me that I was the most scared because he said it was bad news. He explained that during these 3 days, my wife had visited Simon twice, one at the place where Lexi said she caught them red-handed. He showed me pictures of the two of them going in and out of a hotel, Simon's place, and even his office. I couldn't believe it. He even had a photo of them kissing, which made me want to find a ledge and jump off, throwing both of them down. I thanked him for his job and sent him the remainder of his payment, then went home. I told him that I could not work today, and Erin called me and told me that she was staying at her friend's place today, which just broke my heart even more. I genuinely have no idea what I did to deserve this. All I've done is care about them and trust them. The worst thing about all this is that not only did my wife cheat on me, but the next person I trusted the most was the one she slept with. I did not even sleep a wink yesterday and have been thinking non-stop about what I should do. At about 2 a.m., I cried for a few minutes, thinking about how my wife had just destroyed everything we built and how Simon had made a joke out of a friendship. Then all the sadness and depressive thoughts that I had just turned into rage. I've been really angry for several hours. First, I was thinking I was just going to talk to them, divorce my wife, and leave. But I did not want to do that anymore. Why should I give them an easy way out after what they did to me? That is the thought going on in my head. Why should I choose the high road? I want to take revenge and make them experience everything that they've made me feel. But I also think taking revenge isn't the right thing to do here. I don't know anymore, so please help give me some advice on what I should do to them after everything that they did to me. Updates number 1. It's been 2 months. Hey guys, it's been a while since my last update, right? I did end up making a decision, and a lot of things have happened. So let me just get into what this is going to be without wasting any time. But before I do that, I want to thank you guys for giving me advice. Some really did help. And to the people commenting negative things, I wish what you guys were saying could hurt me. But the life I built is literally falling apart right in front of my eyes. Nothing really matters to me anymore. So after thinking a lot and considering your suggestions, I thought that the best thing to do was take revenge. Honestly, I wanted to do it from the start and just needed a little push. So thank you to those who pushed me. Don't worry, I'm not planning on hurting anyone. Not badly. I just want to expose them and make them feel the same pain that I felt. But even though I wanted to take revenge, I could not just start without doing something else first. I can't talk about Simon and Aaron, but I did genuinely love and care about them. So I wanted to give them a chance. I know that I should have just gone ahead with what I was planning, but I wanted to see just how little they cared about me. For over a week, I spoke with my wife, and she looked into my eyes while lying through her teeth. She could have come clean at any moment, but she didn't, and she wasn't even a bit guilty about everything that happened. She clearly didn't care about how I would feel after I found out. Well, this broke my heart. Simon also acted the same way, and even when I asked him who he was sleeping with now, he just laughed it off and said some girl. He didn't even have a drop of sweat or even a little concern about what it would do to me when I found out. So after this, I was pretty much set with the idea of revenge. And even though my real plan was going to take a bit of time, I started with the preparation. As more things happened, I'll let you know what I did, but for now, this is everything that happened. I started to contact Alexi, Simon's ex, and asked her for help. As soon as I told her what I wanted to do and asked for her assistance, she happily agreed. Luckily, she had not started dating anyone else because the first part of the plan I needed her for was seducing Simon, so that I could make my wife experience what it feels like to be cheated upon. Lexi agreed to do as I said, as she only wants to see Simon burn, knowing that it was going to cause him a mountain of problems. She happily agreed and then began to try to talk to Simon while I started setting up hidden cameras, audio recorders, everything you can get on Amazon. My home is now set up, and it's all requiring me for the next step of the plan. So while Lexi was slowly working, I first wanted to gather some more concrete proof of their affair, so that it would help me in the divorce. We have a cheating clause, which would make sure that she gets nothing from my property and wealth. So after I finished setting up everything, I told Simon and my wife that I was leaving for a few days for important work. It was actually important, but I'll let you know what it was when it bears fruit. I knew that there was a chance that they were going to sleep at my place when I left for a few days, and I was right. Now I have the evidence, and Lexi has convinced Simon for a hookup, which is going to be a very bad night for him. Because when Lexi is going to be working her charm on him, me and my wife are going to accidentally walk in and see them doing the act in the office. Well, if everything goes to plan, I'll let you guys know what happens. Updates number 2. Hey, it's almost been another 2 months since it's passed, and you guys are going to like this one, I can assure you of that. I'm so sure you guys want to know what happened after the last time, so things went as planned. Lexi managed to convince him to stay in the office while her and I took my wife there to get something I forgot. I wish you guys could have seen their faces. When Simon saw Aaron and realized his cheating had been caught, and when my wife saw the person she was cheating on me with was also cheating on her. It would have been almost hilarious if it wasn't my wife and my friend cheating on me. So it was more sad than funny. Anywho, we apologized and left, and I kept looking at Aaron to see her reaction. She couldn't believe us and was shocked to the core that a cheater was cheating. I started to laugh, and she pretended to laugh too, which was actually funny. This caused a huge problem between them, and whatever relationship they had has been put on hold. They're not sleeping together anymore, which is a big achievement, and I've thanked Lexi many times for the help. But now, everything is in my hands, and I got double aces. Let me tell you the actual plan that I've made for them, because it is insane. One is for both of them, but more for Aaron, and one is completely for old Simon. Says you remember the trip I went on in my last update? Well, I was meeting with a person who was going to help me get back at Simon. The person is a businessman who owns a bit of a business like ours. He's been trying to take over for a long time, but both me and Simon have not even moved an inch. So, he has agreed to take everything from me at a really generous price. I don't want to work here anymore, and I don't want to make life hell for Simon. So it's a win-win. Baby, I'm sure that after this I'll have to move from this place. That's why I decided to do it. I could not just leave the business I created so easily now. After I leave, Simon is going to suffer even more than me, as he would not be able to quit or keep working if things go to plan. Last time, the businessman was a bit worried that I was trying to pull something and wanted to check everything first. Now he has agreed, so in a few weeks to a month, that's going to happen. Fortunately, in 2 weeks, it's our anniversary, and I've been preparing for a great surprise party. I've invited everyone who knows who she is, as I want as many eyes on her as possible, just to humble Simon. I've invited him, obviously, and a bunch of people from businesses we regularly buy from. So that is this stunt. I want everyone to know the kind of people they are. I want their parents and family to see how low they can go for whatever reason they stabbed me in the back. I'll update you guys about what happens next. Update number 3. Hey guys, I'm writing this just a few hours after the party, and let me tell you, it's been a crazy day. I'll gladly tell you everything that's happened and how it played out. So, right before the party, I asked my wife if there was something that she wanted to tell me. And, if she wouldn't have hidden what she was doing behind my back, even at this point, I would have told her about the trap that I set. But she was still the same person. Even getting cheated on didn't change her perspective. By the way, for the people asking me, I don't think Aaron and Simon are still sleeping together. Honestly, I don't care at this point, but I think the cheating thing worked and it tore them apart immediately. Speaking from experience, cheating does do that. Now, I don't feel any love for my wife, who will hopefully, in a bit of time, become my ex-wife. The party started, and I surprised her with a lot of people. Aaron was very happy. The only person she wasn't happy to see was Simon, which I found hilarious. When I asked her what happened between them, she said that she had asked him to stop sleeping around and get into a relationship and was mad that he was still doing it. I told him not to worry about it, and then we cut the cake and everybody cheered. Half an hour later, I took everyone's attention and asked them to focus on the center TV. It was displaying pictures and videos of us that I had taken throughout the marriage. Genuinely, it even got me emotional. Remember, in all the good times? Then, I collected myself and gave a short speech about how much I loved my wife. As I ended my speech, I told her that it hurt to do this to her and someone else I care a lot about, but what they've done to me is even worse. Then, I showed the video I had collected from my home. On top of this, I announced that this was my wife enjoying my partner and a good friend, Simon. And everybody was shocked. Simon acted quickly and kicked the projector, and Aaron just screamed in horror. She grabbed me by the collar and asked me how I could have done this. She was so emotional that she forgot what she had done. She did the worst thing. I reminded her that I should be the one telling her this, not her telling me. As she looked around for support, all she saw were judging eyes for her sleeping with her husband's best friend. Even her parents asked her why she did this. She had no answers. No, nothing. All she had were tears in her eyes as she tried to mumble that it wasn't her fault. I then told her that I was done with her and that she was soon going to get a divorce paper. Then, I looked at Simon, who was just staring into the distance in horror. He tried to say something, but I told him not to speak and said that he was going to get a gift from me soon enough. Well, then I left and I've thrown all of Erin's stuff out of the house. She was quick to come back home and tried to talk to me, but I did not want to see her. I told her I was really done and asked her to leave in about an hour. She left, and I'll let you know what happens next. Update number 4. This is the final update of the story. Hey guys, it's been a few months, and I finally let my place after my divorce. Fortunately, because of the overwhelming evidence, I did not even want to give her a penny. She didn't even get the house, which I sold, and I'm just now moving out. So, 2 weeks later, Simon got my gift when the businessman informed him of the deal I made. This meant that he had to work under him, and Simon hated it. Plus, he was going to change everything to a point where it would not even be what we created. So Simon tried his best to fight it, but he couldn't. In the end, he had to accept the punishment. A month later, while the divorce was actually going on, Erin came home and begged me to help her. She told me that she had nothing and didn't want me to leave. Her parents had disowned her, and her friend didn't want to speak to her. When I told her that I didn't care, she asked me to let her in. When I refused to even do that, she begged me to give her something in the divorce. Even if I didn't have to, I could maybe leave her the house. I told her I was selling it and wasn't going to give her a penny. Also, it turns out that after what I did at the anniversary party, Simon ended up losing a lot of respect from other businessmen, which made him lose a lot of money. So it became impossible for him to quit. He then came to me, begging for help, which was really surprising. I told him I didn't want to see his face, and he apologized for everything that he did. He then asked me to forgive him and come back. I told him there's no way in hell that's going to happen. I told him to leave me be. He only left after I told him I'd call the cops. Erin then came to visit a few times, and she was begging, but after I sold the house since the divorce, she's not shown her face. I fear she's struggling really hard to make ends meet, you know? And then Simon has turned to coping with drugs just to keep up with everything that's happened. I wish I cared about them. I don't. I'm done with them in this life, and I'm leaving this place and giving myself a fresh start.